What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about the history of Canadian hockey. I was thinking about this. I do that sometimes. Think about stuff. Much to the shock of some of you out there, I think about things, and in particular, I was thinking about Canadian hockey. It's kind of a stereotype that's kind of true, that Canadians really enjoy hockey. Okay, fine. Then I was thinking, why is that? And I'm not saying hockey is like a bad game or not entertaining. I'm saying, why ice hockey, of all things? Why that sport in particular? Where did that begin? How did that start? Everything had to start somewhere, even the Canadian hockey, I tell you. So I thought it'd be very, very interesting to learn about the history of hockey in Canada, as well as watch a little video after, kind of talking about why hockey is so beloved and watched so much and played so much in Canada. So I thought that'd be quite enjoyable. I found this little article here. Are you wondering why hockey is so popular and why hockey is always associated with the country? Yes, exactly. Why is hockey so popular? Like, it could have been anything. It could have been darts. You could have been playing darts, but it's hockey. Canadians of all ages love hockey. They breathe, eat, and live the sport. In fact, most people in Canada start teaching their children how to skate as soon as they learn to walk. Is that true? Wait, I didn't know I was going to learn Canadian fun facts today. But seriously, do Canadians teach their children to skate? Is that a rite of passage? You don't get to eat dinner that night if you don't skate down the driveway? Or why are Canadians obsessed with this sport? How did hockey become their official national winter sport? The answers to these questions are simple. Canadians invented the sport, and they are also very good at it. Canadians invented the sport? Did Canadians invent hockey? Did I not know that? Did Canada invent hockey? Who invented hockey? Although ice hockey did not originate in Canada. What? It's one of the country's national sports. Who invented the sport of hockey? Here we go. Let me make this a little bigger. Who? Let's get to the truth of the matter. James Crichton, possibly? The development of modern version of ice hockey is credited to James Crichton. In 1872, he moved from Halifax, Nova Scotia to Montreal. So this says hockey. This says a specific Canadian. James Crichton. That's pretty cool. Who invented hockey, Canada or England? Is this some kind of weird feud I didn't know about? The origin of hockey? The modern sport of ice hockey was developed in Canada, notably Montreal. Cool. Okay. Why is Canada the birthplace of hockey? Okay. It's 1884 reference to the game of hurley? Huh. What sports did Canada invent? Okay. Why is hockey so Canadian? The indigenous people of Canada played a sport similar to modern-day hockey? Huh, this is good stuff. Okay, I'm getting a little carried away. Apparently, Canada did indeed invent hockey, and that makes a lot of sense for maybe the reason why it became and grew to be such a huge cultural thing. Okay, history of hockey in Canada. Here we go. The history of hockey in Canada dates back to the 19th century. 1875, the 1800s. For hockey, when the first indoor hockey game was played in Montreal, Quebec. They know when the first game of hockey was played, somehow. It could have been like a couple of people on the street with some sticks hitting a rock around, But this is probably the first organized indoor game. Cool. Some of the rules and characteristics of today's hockey game were drawn from this event. The Canadian rules were adopted by several countries and became the official rules of the game. Canada really, not only invented hockey, but really ran with it and invented a lot of the now accepted rules of the game. The first annual hockey championships took place in Montreal in the 1880s. Oh, they were already having a hockey championship in the 1800s. That's kind of shocking to me. That long ago. From the event, in a way, it also makes sense, because the more I think about it, hockey does not require much advanced technology, sticks and a puck and a net, so maybe it makes a ton of sense why that would be something people were doing for entertainment back in the day. Sometimes back in the day can mean, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, back in the day. No, I'm talking 1800s back in the day. From the event till today, Canada has been making history in hockey. Below is an overview of history of hockey in Canada. Perfect. Okay, we're jumping to 1914. 21 teams across the country gathered in Ottawa to form the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association. 1914. So it only took 34 years to create an amateur hockey association. Cool. Their main function was to oversee the amateur games at the national level. About a decade later, Canada won the first ever Olympic hockey gold medal. That's not Canada's first gold. Well, it is. It's the first Olympic hockey gold medal ever was won by Canada. That's insane and also makes too much sense at the same time. They retained their championship by winning gold again in the 1924 Olympics in France and the 1928 Olympics in Switzerland. They retained it twice in a row. The first three hockey Olympic golds, if I'm reading this correctly. That is ridiculous and very Canadian. No wonder Canada liked this game so much. Oh, we win gold this year, won it not the last Olympics, won it again. No, like I'd love hockey too. From 1930 to 40, Canada won 8 golds in international hockey events. So as far back as 1924, 100 years ago, almost exactly 100 years ago, funny enough. Oh wait, no, it was 100 years ago. That was the second time they won. Sorry. Tough to keep track of all the Canadian Olympic gold medals here. Sorry to keep track of them all. Over 100 years ago, there was already like competitive global organized hockey championships, which is pretty surprising to me. That's like, it's been that long. 1930 to 40, Canada won 8 golds in international hockey events, winning again at the 1932 Olympics. The country added more trophies throughout the 1940s and 50s, won the 1952 Olympics, and 5 other world titles. Pretty ridiculous, to say the least. Pretty darn ridiculous. I knew Canada liked hockey. I didn't know just how good Canada was at hockey. I think that's the part that was missing. I know they're good, but let's be honest, I don't follow hockey on any kind of level. So I don't actually know how good Canada is or was. And the answer is very good. Very, very good. Canada won their 19th gold medal at the 1961 IIHF World Championship, 3 bronze medals. Canada protested the exclusion of the professional hockey players from the IIFC and refused to participate in 2 Olympic events. They missed out on 2 Olympic events. So, what's the IIFC? What is that? Well, apparently it's nothing now, because nothing comes up. So it's a hockey organization would not let professional hockey players in? That reminds me of, I think they did that for tennis as well for a while. So Canada boycott 2 Olympics. That's a shame. Probably had a good chance to win them. But standing up for your principles and all that, pretty good too. Canada created 2 national hockey championships, Centennial Cup and Wrigley Cup. In 1971-1974, I have not heard these words before. I imagine they're very popular and very well known. Maybe what I'm saying is blasphemy. Canada has 2 national hockey championships. 2. You get to enjoy 2 championships every year. Nice. In 1981, Canada created the Program of Excellence to bring together the country's top young players. That's when you know. That's when you know a country's getting serious about their hockey or any sport. When they're making all these organizations that are devoted to giving the younger and younger talent in the country opportunities to get even better and maybe win a couple more gold medals between you and me. The program was successful. Canada recorded improved performance on the international stage by mentoring and developing younger players. Nice, very nice. In 1982, Canada sent its first true national team to the IIHF World Junior Championship, won the cup in that same year, and in 1984 and in 1987, and created the National Women's Championship. Nice. In 1987? 1982. Nice. Canada hosted the first inaugural IIHF Women's Championship in the 1990s and won. Big shocker. The women's team continued its dominance, winning 5 consecutive gold medals. Good grief. It's good that finally they developed a women's league and all that, but then it was just like not good news for the rest of the women's hockey leagues around the world. Not good news, because Canada wins just 5 gold medals in a row. In the last 2 decades, Canada's national teams have achieved several feats on the international stage. Okay, this is good because I'm not up to date with modern hockey, Canada's success in hockey either. The country won gold in the men's and women's hockey games in the 2002-2010 Olympic Winter Games. Quite recent, honestly. 4 years later, Canada repeated the same feat, with the women's and men's national teams winning gold in the World Championships. So many Olympic titles and world titles to even count. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, there is an absurd amount of gold first place championships here by Canada, which, again, doesn't shock me, but at the same time, still so impressive. Like, still. How to place bets on Canada ice hockey games. Whoa, hey, I don't know if I'm there. I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet. I'm just learning. I don't know if I'm ready to place bets on Canadian ice hockey games. What happened in the last Olympics? Last Winter Olympics was like Winter Olympics 2022 winners. Oh, this could be bad, honestly. Because it's not a guarantee that Canada won, huh? Ice hockey. So there was a Winter Olympics in 2022. Ice hockey, gold went to Finland. Sorry, Canada. Don't mean to bring up a sore spot there. Finland, ROC, and Slovakia. But the women won. Okay, never mind. Saved. Canada's the women won the women's gold medal. Very nice. To United States. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Wait a minute. See, that kind of tells you, like, how much hockey is talked about in America, sadly. I didn't know that the women's team made it to the 2022 Winter Olympics final. And that's definitely worthy of recognition. So I'm glad I know now. Congrats, Canada, though. Man, it just, that's funny that the U.S. got second. And then Finland. Apparently Finland's pretty darn good at ice hockey as well. Who knew? Okay, that's very good. I feel like I have a good grasp on the history of ice hockey. And man, it started longer ago than I thought. Was taken very seriously longer ago than I thought. And Canada has, Canada, how should I say this, has dominated ice hockey, it seems like, in a lot of ways. I don't know, it's probably the best way to say it. But apparently Finland is not bad these days. Anyway, I have here, real quick, a video I'd like to watch about Canada's love affair with hockey. Well, this is the other question I had. One question I had was, how did it all start? What's the history? Okay, I get it. I get it now. And now the other question, why do Canadians love it to this day? Is it just because it's always been there? Is it because Canada's so darn good at it? Or is there something more? Let's find out.
I've always said it's the story of a love affair. We don't know why we feel so family when we watch Hockey Night in Canada, but we do feel like family. And
Don't know why you feel like a true family. Canada bonded together over hockey. I mean, honestly, joking aside, it makes sense. Like, people bond all over all sorts of things. Like sports. Some people think that can be dumb, like sports and like taking it too seriously. But on a level kind of, lying beneath all that is, if nothing else, it's a great way to have camaraderie and like bond over something, which is great.
And we do know that everyone in our family is kind of joining us and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's just such a joy about the simplicity with which it all began. The joy, the freedom of outdoor hockey, that cold air in your lungs.
Oh, the freedom of outdoor hockey is now I'm just thinking about random stuff. I thought most ice hockey was indoors. Is there like outdoor ice hockey? Is that not on the ice? Is that roller hockey? Or I'm not going to get into that right now, but
Crazy sound that carving ice makes.
oh, outdoor hockey. Never mind. The little cartoon showed me. Outdoor hockey on a live ice rink out in nature. You can go out. Wait, you're allowed to go outside and skate and breathe fresh air? I didn't know that. I've just been sitting locked in this room for years. No, but this does make a lot of sense.
When you're skating on a pond or a river. It's a magical setting.
Yeah.
It's a complicated web to try and sort out where the game started. I've always said Montreal is the cradle of organized sport.
He's saying, little controversy over where hockey started. He's saying Montreal, kind of what I learned at the beginning with old Google.
No, it's a mix now of a lot of great history in Windsor, Nova Scotia, and Kingston, Ontario, and the Northwest Territories. I mean, where else? Dawson City challenged for the Stanley Cup in 1905. Kenora won the Stanley Cup, population 6,000. Every time you hit the outdoor ice, you are in the footsteps of our history in the Cup, and that's exciting. Only we can say that. It was in 1972 when Canada won the Summit Series against the Soviet Union.
Okay, there's going to be some things here that I just don't understand. Like, I at least know Stanley Cup, like the word, and the championship trophy. But like Summit Series, I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I don't think it's terribly important that I know the nitty-gritty for this video.
It was a time when we'd had the FLQ crisis, and suddenly we had this collaboration of Quebec and the rest of Canada, French and English. Bill Esposito and Yvon Cornwallis and Paul Henderson and Serge Savard, who never lost a game, working together. Team Canada.
Team Canada versus Team Russia? For a series, Summit Series. Okay, a true rivalry.
No one had ever called a team Team Canada before. Technology sure is a huge part of modern day experience. I went through black and white. There was no satellite in the sky till 1967, 68. By the time the signal got to us, it was sort of a strobing, peculiar image.
Yeah, this is such a good point as well. Like, amazing how darn popular hockey is in Canada for those first, 60, 70 years before satellite TV existed. Like, it's obvious now how easy it is to share hockey highlights and hockey games on television and on your computer. But for the first, 70, 80 years of its existence in Canada, hockey grew organically just because it was so popular and everyone loved to play it or watch it in real life. There's real life? Wait, there's real life outside of here?
Wasn't clear at all. So it felt like I was watching a lunar landing rather than a hockey game. One of the most significant changes in hockey is YouTube.
Wow, we're getting meta here. Yeah, exactly. Like, now you can watch hockey highlights, hockey shows, hockey whatever, videos of all kinds on YouTube, right?
Kid can now watch Patrick Kane or Connor McDavid and read.
Right. Now kids of all ages can pull up the YouTubes and the hockey, huh?
Rather than a hockey game. One of the most significant changes in hockey is YouTube. Every kid can now watch Patrick Kane or Connor McDavid and really study how they use their edges.
Right. You can look up hockey tutorials, all sorts of stuff. Watch the pros.
They do with the puck, with their stick. It's incredible how, in my day, it was all some distant miracle. Now it's right there for you to look at, slow down, repeat. And it's really led to a quantum improvement in the skill level in the last decade.
Oh, wow.
When we took hooking out of the game, obstruction out of the game, we lost that little warning.
Hooking? What is hooking? All right, I can't let this slide. Hooking. Hockey. Is it like hitting them with your stick? What is this? Playing? No. Hooking. I don't want to play. I want to hook people. Hooking. It's a penalty in ice hockey. The The act of using the stick in a manner that enables a player or goalkeeper to restrain the opponent. Oh, you're taking your hockey stick and you're hooking it around their body so they can't go anywhere, really annoying them. Huh, I didn't know that was a thing.
When we took hooking out of the game, obstruction out of the game, we lost that little warning. Players are sort of free of all these things that signaled, hey, trouble encroaching. Imagine, put that in a helmet and into an earpiece, allow a player to realize, hold on a minute here, there's somebody coming at you.
Huh. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Now it just like relies on your situational awareness of the playing field, knowing where everyone is, rather than relying on them to whack you with their stick to know where they are.
Even in the original 6 days, there was only 2 Canadian teams. Now they happen to dominate them. But for the modern fan, it is truly unbelievable that we're nearly at a quarter century without the Stanley Cup having come home. I think
quarter century without the Stanley Cup. So is the Stanley Cup the NHL Stanley Cup? I can't ignore this any longer. I can't live in ignorance any longer. Explained? Explained. NHL, they compete every spring to win the league and take home the Stanley Cup. So that's just winning the regular NHL season, taking home the Stanley Cup. That's different than like other world championships and stuff, I imagine, other leagues.
Unbelievable that we're nearly at a quarter century without...
It's been a quarter century since Canada has won the Stanley Cup? Okay. I'm guessing America and a lot of American ice hockey teams have really gotten a lot better over time as well.
Stanley Cup having come home. I think it's very Canadian. I always said of our soldiers, we're best when we're fighting for others. That's why we were great peacekeepers. So I don't think it's Canadian to care whether we have the cup. I think it's Canadian to know that we created it.
It's Canadian to not care if you have the Stanley Cup, but I bet Canada will not complain when it gets the Stanley Cup either.
Then it was Salt Lake City in 2002, and I remember it had been 50 years since Canada had won a gold medal. Mario Lemieux made an amazing moment by allowing the puck that was supposed to be coming to him go through.
Mario Lemieux. I've heard that name. That Canadian hockey player is famous enough that even I have heard of him. That is saying something.
Through his feet and over to Paul Kariya for a significant goal, and at the Sochi Olympics in 2014.
This is another reason, obviously, why people love, well, sports in general, but hockey, is it creates moments, like these moments that you can bond over, not just watching, but then talking about some of the old games, some of the old championships and moments and your favorite players and all that stuff. Like, as a fan of sports in general, I really get that part of it, why it's so popular.
Marie-Philippe Poulin scored 2 goals, a tying goal and a game-winning goal, and she'd already done that in Vancouver in 2010. You just know there's certain things you see that says they're at another level. Yeah. So the Canadian game is in great hands. When I fly, as I do every weekend, I'm constantly looking down at the prairie nights and, I can see hockey rinks, and I think it's that necklace of hockey.
Wait, when he's flying over Canada, you can see the hockey rinks. That is, I know, that is the most Canadian thing ever.
Hockey rinks that goes from coast to coast to coast.
Wow.
It's my favorite moment in my career. I'm Ron MacLean, and it's been my incredible experience and privilege to understand that hockey is Canada.
Hockey is Canada. Hockey is Canada. I feel like I should know who Ron MacLean is, now that I just listened to him beautifully describe Canadian hockey. Canadian sportscaster for the CBC, best known as the host of Hockey Night in Canada, and is also a hockey referee. Was he a player? Was he ever a player? A hockey referee and host. I'm not sure he was actually a player. Okay, interesting. A very well-loved Canadian hockey sports personality is what I'm getting here. Very nice. That was a good video. That helped explain more of the emotional attachment Canada has to hockey, which is kind of the big part I'm missing, and I need stuff like this to kind of bunch that up, condense it in a way that I can even try to understand Canada's emotional and cultural attachment to this game. But for as far as that goes, I think I am much, much more educated and have a much better grasp of where hockey came from in Canada, how it's grown, how well Canada has done, why it's so popular, why it's so meaningful. I get it. I get it. I'm very pleased with this, and I enjoyed it a lot. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, and just stuff about Canada that I've never seen or learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.